What's up, y'all? It's your girl Cornelia back for another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. First things first, we got a lot to talk about this week, so I ain't even gonna hold you, okay? I've been saying that a lot lately, but it's the truth. But before we get into it, thank y'all so much for liking, subscribing, sharing the podcast on all platforms, telling your friends, spreading the word, chiming in, hitting me up with topic suggestions or ideas and thoughts, or just to laugh about something that we talked about on the podcast. Thank y'all so much for the continued support. Please keep doing so. Please keep supporting, yada, yada, yada. All right, let's get into it. We're going to jump right into it this week with the topics. This particular situation has been blowing the internet up. Happened a couple of days ago. Kevin Samuels, the YouTuber, and I think we will call him a relationship advice giver or something. I don't know. He passed away this week at age 57. Rest in peace to that man. Rest in peace to that man. Now listen, there has been a lot of talk about this Kevin Samuel situation from many different angles. People have been talking about his life, his legacy, the way he died, how he was when he was alive, his circumstances, some of the things he said and stood for. So I'm just going to cover a few different things that have been discussed, and then we'll see where the cards fall. So first, I was not a fan of Kevin Samuels. I don't necessarily buy into or am a believer in that harsh or tough love way of giving feedback. I don't think everybody needs that. And I don't think that is the way that you need to get your message across. Now, some people do receive feedback in that way. I'm just not one of those people. But before we get into all that, I do want to say, according to news reports, the way he was found dead was he was with a woman. They had a night together, probably had sex. We don't know. But she was with him, and she said she met him on a Wednesday night. They spent the night together at his Atlanta home. Then the woman, who was a nurse, said he started complaining of chest pains, passed out or fell on her, started turning blue. She called 911, requested that they bring up a defibrillator and help him. Ambulance came. He eventually passed away. Now, one of the saddest parts about that is that his mother found out that he passed away on social media. It hit the blogs, it hit social media, the news outlets, before she was even notified. So, regardless of how you feel about him, that is tragic to realize that her first time hearing that her son passed was through somebody saying they saw it on Instagram. That's tragic. That is tragic, and that is just ridiculous. But now, I feel like there's been multiple topics and discussions, right? A lot of people were talking and were saying that women were online celebrating his death, which I personally did not see. I did see people talking about him in death the same way they were talking about him in life. So, let me add that. But again, I didn't see everything. So there may have people been, chopping it up and cheering it up. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that you should do that. But I do stand behind the perspective of just because you pass away doesn't mean that absolves you from the hurt that you've caused some people. Now, going back to what I said earlier, I'm not a fan or a believer that you got to attack people or make them feel bad to get them to change. I know people who have done that to me in my personal life, so I don't agree that is the way to deliver information. You can deliver information in love, and it can be just as effective as if you were delivering it with, air quotes, tough love or harshness. But I did read a quote from someone on social media who kind of summed it up for me, because over this past week, people have been, bringing up the idea that some people actually called in for that type of feedback. So it couldn't have been that bad. He said positive things, and if it weren't positive or helpful, people wouldn't have been tuned in to listen, and people would not have voluntarily put themselves in that situation, specifically talking about women. But somebody said something and it really stuck out to me. It said, "From what I gathered, abusive and bitter men loved him. Women who interpret abuse as love and validation sought his advice." Let me read it one more time. "From what I gathered, abusive and bitter men loved him. Women who interpret abuse as love and validation sought his advice." Which speaks to that question of, well, then why would somebody call in the show if he was so bad? If you interpret or receive feedback or abuse as a form of love because of whatever trauma you were dealing with in your life, then yes, you're going to call in and take that beat down, because to you, the beat down means somebody cares enough about you. It's just like when a woman be getting hit in the face, or a man be getting hit in the face by their partner, and they be like, "He wouldn't have hit me if he didn't love me. He loved me. That's why he did it, because he cares." No. Now, regardless of how everybody else feels about Kevin Samuels, or how they received his messages, how long they watched the YouTube videos, the supporter, not supportive, one thing we have noticed and we know is true: the way you live your life is going to be the way you celebrate it after you're gone. The way you are perceived and the way you act and the messaging and the things you put out there while you are living is going to be the same when you're gone. Yes, there's sometimes a heightened level of sadness and support and celebration when people move on. But when you're polarizing, you're going to be polarizing after you passed away the same way you were when you were alive. So, to me, this situation spoke about legacy. What legacy are you leaving, and how will you be discussed after you die? It may not be important to some people, but to some it is. So let's keep that in mind, especially as we are out in this world sharing information, deeming ourselves these relationship gurus or whatever the case may be. How you live your life is how you're going to be perceived when you die. Also, too, I do want to point out, because what I've always gathered about Kevin Samuels, especially when all of the videos and all the chatter about his, YouTube commentary was going viral way before he passed away. First thing I will always say is, I want to know about his parents and his mama. I want to know about the relationship with his mother, because to me, it does say something about a grown ass man in his 50s who feels the need to talk this way and to try to change and fix or teach Black women a lesson. That to me showed that he was trying to heal and teach something in his past, that same lesson. Because sometimes what we do, we often use our present day situations as a way to heal our own pasts. We often try to work out the problems of our childhood in present day. Example, and in this case, and I don't know if this is the actual factual, but this is what I've always assumed. I heard at one point that Kevin Samuels, and I remember asking this on a post, I was like, somebody tell me about his mama. She was unmarried, married multiple times, or had multiple different baby daddies, had a bunch of kids, maybe like 7 to 10 kids. And the way they described her is the way that it sounded similar to the women that he had a problem with or was hard on in present day. It seemed like he was using present day situations and scenarios as a way to tell women what he never was able to, or what he wished somebody, or what he wished he would have been able to tell his mother back in the day. He wished she would have done all of these things and things would have turned out differently for her. So instead of telling her and dealing with it as an adult man and stop trying to solve the problems of your 8-year-old self, he then turned the tables and is now telling Black women in present day these things and giving them this advice as a way to make up the cost. I don't know if that's necessarily 100% true. That's what I gathered a long time ago and still gather to this day. And if that was the case, I said it then and I said it now, and it don't apply now because that brother has passed on. But get you some therapy. Get you some therapy. Get you some help. We are all just trying to heal our 8-year-old selves. Are we trying to help our 8-year-old selves? We trying to mold or save or to fix problems that we had when we were children. And instead of doing that for the sake of others, do it with yourself. Get your butt some therapy and work it out. Again, that's too late for this brother right now because he has passed on. But again, I will say this whole situation to me is a testament about legacy, the mark you leave, and how you impact and affect others. And there have been people who have been sending positive thoughts and messages saying that he really helped them and he showed men how to behave and act in this world. And there was one dude who was like, I bought my first suit because Kevin Samuels said you buy a suit, which was weird because it took Kevin Samuels telling you about a suit to get you a suit. You didn't know that you need to get a suit? Hey, everybody's journey different. All I'm saying is this to me is the perfect lesson and example of who are you? And if you passed away, will you be happy with how people talk about you, even though you don't care because you moved on? I hope that brother rests in peace. I feel bad for his family. And I hope people who really liked him can find some peace in him moving on and continue sharing his legacy. Do it amongst yourselves. Because I don't want to see no more viral videos of black women being told they're useless or leftovers or all of that. We don't need that. But share his legacy amongst yourselves. With that said, how do y'all feel about this situation? Were you impacted by the loss? Were you indifferent? I got a couple people, friends, who didn't even know who he was. So, some people don't even know. Where did you stand on this? Let me know. Hit me up on social media at Canillion. Comedy festivals in the stand-up comedy world are pretty big and pretty popular. There are festivals all over, large and small, known, unknown, career boosts. Some don't matter to your career. It's a part of being a comic. This past week, or maybe a week and a half, Netflix decided to hold a comedy festival of some sort in Los Angeles called the Netflix is a Joke Festival. Now, shout out to everybody who participated. There were literally multiple shows at multiple venues, different sizes, every single night for like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, going from comedy clubs, small rooms, Improv Comedy Store, Belly Room, the Lab at the Improv, all the way up to Dodger Stadium. Literally, there was comedy going on every single day. I was a part of the festival. I did the show at Avalon in Hollywood with Tony Baker. It was Tony Baker and Friends. Fantastic lineup. It was Wednesday. I had a good old time. Shout out to you if you listening and you were at that show. It was damn good. Now, with that, some of the biggest comics out were a part of the festival. Bill Burr, Kevin Hart, Fluffy, Hasan Minhaj, you name it, they were on the show. Wanda Sykes, everybody was a part of that festival. Arsenio even brought back the Arsenio Hall show and was at the Roosevelt Theater taping episodes with guests and comics. It was nice to see everybody come out for that. But Dave Chappelle, y'all know Dave gonna get Hollywood Bowl. He gonna sell out the bowl multiple nights. He gonna pop up in different places. The Comedy Store, Belly. He gonna be around doing stand-up. He was at Hollywood Bowl for multiple nights, having different performances. Usher was there. I think Nas popped up. All kinds of people be at his shows. One particular night, Dave Chappelle was at the Hollywood Bowl, and some buster-ass little boy runs on stage, rushes Dave Chappelle, and ends up getting stomped the F out. Stomped out. And y'all know, you can't have camera at a Dave show. You can't record. You can't have cameras. You can't have your cell phone. You got to put that thing away. So there was minimal footage of what happened. But from what we gathered and what we saw, this little boy rushed the stage, found out he had this fake gun that was actually a pocket knife in his pocket, rushed Dave. Security came, stumped him, dragged him off to the side backstage, Everybody else jumped in, stumped him out. People, including Busta Rhymes, Jamie Foxx. I heard even Jon Stewart got in on the stumping. Dave Chappelle stumped him out. They escort Buddy out. His arm looked like it was taken off, removed, swapped with somebody else's arm, and then sewn on backwards. I'm talking about this little boy was in shambles. A hot mess. A hot mess. So, a couple things. I ain't mad they stumped his ass out. Listen, the comics been getting heckled, rushed, harassed, on stage, off stage, after shows, before shows. That has been going on for some time. People kept equating this to the Will Smith slap, like, you see what happened when you let people just walk up there. We've been getting harassed from day one. I remember at the beginning of my comedy career, when I was very new out here, at one point, one of my big brothers in comedy was like, we're going to have to get you security because the craziest male comedy show patrons would be harassing me after shows. It was literally ridiculous to the point where I was actually considering getting security. And it wasn't because I was doing nothing extra. It was just a string of crazy dudes. So this has been happening. But there has to be, especially on shows of this magnitude, there has to be some form of security that is there quicker or placed a position in certain areas that can stop things like this. Because he had a little fake weapon on him and a knife. Where's the checkpoint? Y'all ain't got no metal detectors? Second, people need to realize that a lot of stand-up comics ain't these little goofy people y'all see on TV. Yes, people are funny. They X-class clowns. They are, humorous. They great writers, great performers, can deliver the laughs. But a lot of these dudes and these girls from the hood, a lot of them just broken and people coming off the street. Some of them done slept in their car at some point back in the day. They got hands and they got guns. I know quite a few stand-up comics who out here with the goon squad ready to go. So y'all gonna quit thinking just because people can make y'all laugh that they ain't gonna knock your ass out, because they will. Third, I want comics to I know it's a time of concern to an extent, but for some of us, child, ain't nobody gonna be rushing you on stage. Like, come on. Some of us, we're safe. They're not gonna get us. Now, who they gonna get, who they gonna rush, who they gonna try, you never know. But when you put yourself in that position on stage, you gotta be ready and prepared. So maybe we need to take a boxing or Muay Thai to be ready to whoop ass in case somebody try to get the drop on us. Fifth, I don't know if I'm at number 4 or 5, but we're gonna act like we're on number 5. That little boy should have known better than to try to rush a grown ass man from DC. Like, I just don't get the audacity. Then they said a couple months ago he made a song talking about Dave Chappelle. So it's some stalker hatred. I don't know. It's just weird all around. But as a follow-up to what happened, little boy got arrested, but he won't get charged with a felony. And it sounds like Dave Chappelle's camp is a little pissed off that ain't the case. They want him charged with a felony. He has been charged with misdemeanors, held on $30,000 bond. I don't know if he bonded out. The little boy looked like he ain't had no money. Okay. He looked like he had about 6 roommates. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised if he had not bonded out. And plus, he probably got to let his arm heal, because it looked like they done took it off somebody off a mannequin, ran it over by one of the LA County city buses, put that bitch back on backwards, and it was the wrong skin tone. I'm talking about the arm look. It was a disaster. Okay. It was a disaster. But his name was Isaiah Lee. He was 23 years old. And yes, his bail remains set at $30,000. So let this be a lesson. For any of y'all thinking y'all gonna be trying these comics, or y'all be thinking comics just these goofy ass people. No. And even if they are goofy, guess what? Goofy dudes always got guns. You see what happened. He got whooped up by bodyguards, Busta Rhymes, Jamie Foxx, Jon freaking Stewart. Like, I'm talking about, even the white boys was getting in on it. Because it is very rare that a comic really get to fight back and teach y'all a lesson. And I'm going to tell you one right now. If I get the opportunity to stump somebody out for rushing the stage, I'm going to stump your ass out. And I don't even like violence. Okay? But you shouldn't have walked up there. With that said, what do y'all think about the situation and how it went down? I know people are still upset with Dave Chappelle for his jokes on one of the last stand-up comedy specials. I know he is becoming a polarizing figure. So how do y'all feel? Are y'all thinking that's what he get? Or are y'all like, dang, that's kind of messed up? Let me know where you stand. Hit me up on social media at Cornelia. This week in Drake news, or last week in Drake news, because this happened a couple of days ago and probably a week after this podcast dropped. Y'all know I love me some Drake. Okay? I love me some Champagne Papi. I love him. Drake was hilariously in the news because this past week, he ended up sliding into this man's wife DMs, y'all. Okay, backtracking. Drake was online talking about, I think it's Ja or Jay Morant. Either way, y'all know what I'm talking about. The one who daddy be at the games looking like Usher. But he was on social media talking about how he would be the same type of supportive father for his son if he were playing basketball or doing anything. He like, yo, I don't care. My son could be in a Rubik's Cube competition and I'm going to be all in the same way T is supporting his son. Y'all, some do, because y'all know people on social media feel like they can just say and do anything they want, even if they don't actually know these celebrities. Okay. Some dude said, your son probably played with ghostwriters. Now, in case you don't remember a couple years ago, Drake got into that whole scandal where they were saying he had ghostwriters. I forget the dude's name, but it was the dude who was writing on the album that was, if you're still reading this, I think that's the album. That's when the whole Pusha T beef got live, and we found out Drake had the son and he wasn't hiding us from the son. He was hiding the son from us. Whatever Drake said. Anyway, the guy said, your son probably played with ghostwriters. Then Drake, ooh, I love this. Drake responded, I just followed your girl because she probably miserable and needs some excitement in her life. He then followed this man's wife on Instagram, sent her a message and said, I'm here for you, ma. What? Y'all, when I saw this, I bust out laughing. I'm talking about in shambles. The wife was responding like, oh, look, Drake DM'd me, haha, laughing. The guy came on, was like, I ain't worried about, we all good over here. My wife good, she ain't going nowhere, yada, yada, yada. But I bet you she considered it. Okay? I bet you she thought about it. And if it wasn't blasted on social media and it was on the low, would she have paid it attention? Let me tell y'all something. There's certain artists who you feel like can really take your girl. There's certain people you feel like if you, like as an outsider looking in, if I was in a relationship and certain people hollered at me while I would not cheat, I would consider what it would be like if I cheated. Now, I wouldn't do it, but I would be like, but the old me might have to. But again, the me today, no. There's certain people I would, and not even take me out of it. Women, Drake is one. Champagne Papi, people have been notorious for being afraid that Drake gonna take their girl. We just saw a couple weeks ago how Money Long told the story about how she was invited to go to the studio with Drake to record some music, and her boyfriend at the time was so jealous and so upset and scared that he was gonna take his girl that she ended up canceling or ghosting and bailing on the session because her crazy boyfriend. Okay, Drake one of them. Idris Elba. If Idris Elba, yes, he's in a relationship. He's married. He's happily married. We moved on. Okay, we understand. But I would be very interested to see how someone would respond who's in a relationship if Idris Elba hit them up. I want to know. Another person. Any top professional athlete in basketball. The attractive ones. D-Wade, LeBron James. Those two, I will be curious to see the reaction. Even though those men are happily married, we ain't on that. We don't say that's not what we not saying that that's what they be doing. We're giving scenarios about if some of these men slid into somebody's wife DMs, what would happen? Bradley Cooper. If Bradley Cooper got up in them DMs, he could probably steal your girl. The same with Captain America. If Cap was in the DMs, we don't know. We don't know what would happen. What other fine dudes do y'all feel like had the potential to be put in this situation? And if they hit you with the "I'm here for you, ma," the ma in discussion will respond. Who y'all think it will be? I personally, I will be a fly on the wall to see what would happen with all of them. Speaking of DMs and sliding into the DMs, y'all, Jesse Williams. Y'all, Jesse Williams. Jesse Jackson Avery Williams. Mr. Grey's Anatomy. Mr. Protect Black Women at all costs. Mr. Fierce Defender of the Culture. Mr. Put your money with Greenwood Bank because we supporting Black-owned businesses and banks. Mr. If you want to talk about police brutality, I'm going to log into this Zoom call with our local news station, cuss y'all out, put y'all in place, give you a history lesson, and then go back to being fine. Mr. I've been fine since day one, Jesse Williams is in the news because somebody done snuck the iPhone camera. Low-key, it looked like an Android camera. Like, let's be real. It low-key looked like it was a Samsung. And yes, I know Samsung got good quality, but Samsung quality drastically decreases when they send the video from the Samsung to the iPhone. So it looked like it was sent to the iPhone and then it knocked the quality down on the video. I'm trying to say somebody snuck the video camera into Jesse's Broadway performance and got video and pictures of him completely nude. I mean, he was completely nude. Now, if you're a Black News listener, if you have your young children in the car, turn off the podcast and resume later. If you one of the aunties, if you listen, y'all close your ears. This ain't for you. This is for the others. We talking about Jesse Williams. Now, poor Jesse, because Jesse has been on a promo run about his Broadway debut. He is in a play called Take Me Out. Take Me Out is about a star baseball player who comes out as gay and the conflict and the situation that arises in that as this professional sports star in this world. Now, I haven't seen the play. It has been getting rave reviews. This isn't the first time the play has been on Broadway, but Jesse has been talking about how he was nervous about this. He wanted a challenge. He has been open that it was a nude scene. People have been asking him about it. He was saying he prayed or been talking to God or asked for these opportunities to be challenged and to be scared about something and intimidated. So then he is in this role. Now, when you are on Broadway or any play, whether you in LA, you are in a traveling troupe, it don't matter. You are instructed when the play starts to not record or take pictures inside of the theater. If you ain't never been in no play, just know you can't have your phone in there. They strictly forbid it. Even when there's nudity, they really be like, yo, do not have that phone in here. Do not record, take pictures. So poor Jesse, who is thinking that he is in this protected, sacred space, and now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, his nudes are going viral. Now, I can speak for the women's side. Y'all remember some years ago when the cloud got hacked and all of these women celebrities' nudes leaked? It was a disaster. I'm talking about it was embarrassing, not because it was something to be ashamed of. They only targeted women, and y'all know the world is harsh and cruel towards women, especially when it comes to our sexuality and being open and free with our bodies. So at the time, Women were getting blamed. These celebrities were getting blamed for even taking these news at all. Like, why would she even take that? She should have known better. Oh, why would she do that? Because she felt like it. Now, we are in a different time. That situation did not hurt those women. For some, it actually boosted it because some of the news was cute. Like, oh, girl, I see you. Okay. But when it comes to men, it's a different conversation, right? We don't have the same stigma around it. Male nudes leak all the time. Child, we done seen a lot of these people got. And we just move on with our lives. Now, this Jesse Williams one hit different though. Because we ain't know Jesse was out here like that. Like, I ain't even know. Jesse Williams been fine. But whoo, we ain't know it was like that. With that said though, I feel bad because don't nobody want their nudes out here leaked. Especially if you didn't plan for it. Thank goodness he out here, he got it like that. So where he can literally be out here like, yeah, you see it. But if it wasn't, imagine if it weren't. I just feel bad that he got to go through this because now I'm sure his inbox is in shambles. I'm talking about regular women, celebrity women, church. Like, I bet you everybody is in Jesse Williams' DMs, which could work in his favor. But it's just probably just so frustrating. And he has children. So he has like daughters. They at some point, kids know how to work the internet. They gonna see their daddy all over the blogs. Poor thing. But on the bright side, it wasn't a bad look. It wasn't a bad look. What y'all think about the Jesse Williams situation, child? Did y'all see the video and the photos? Did you buy your ticket to take me out? Because some of me and my comic homegirls, we were talking about going to see the play. I can pick a quick turnaround trip to New York now. I got friends out there. Hey, y'all trying to go see Take Me Out? Bet. Get tickets, boo-boo. The play ends in June. We can hurry up and try to make it. It's still the beginning of May. Did y'all see what I'm talking about? Did y'all get y'all tickets? Have y'all already seen the play? What do y'all think? Do you think this is a severe violation of Jesse's privacy? Do you feel bad for him? Or do you think Jesse okay? Because we ain't heard from him yet. He might be good. Let me know what you think and where you stand on the situation. Hit me up at Cornelia.
Let's get into honorable mention.
Y'all know I've been talking about lately how I want to spotlight Black-owned businesses per episode. Y'all, this week, the Black-owned businesses that I want to spotlight are comedians. Yet we're going to deviate a little bit and take a pause from specific companies, LLCs, small businesses, and we're going to talk about supporting your local comedians because we are Black-owned businesses. I did a show this weekend, a string of shows on the road with Tony Baker. We were in Ontario, California. 5 shows, 3 days. Fantastic time, great run. But I would like to shout out comedians because I don't think y'all realize the undertaking that it is for comedians to go on the road, travel, make money, sell merch, be away from their families for stints of time, and just to keep doing it every weekend back to back to back. Ticket sales, selling merchandise, commuting, travel, all of these are costs. All of these are things that takes people away from their families. And at the end of the day, we are our own business. And it was really magnified this weekend for me. Yes, I've, done shows, but just being in it and seeing the hustle and the work ethic that it takes to keep doing this day in and day out, weekend after weekend, city to city. Y'all, I need y'all to support your local comedians. Local, far away, don't matter. Your Instagram comedian, I don't care. Buy tickets to these comedy shows. When comics come to your city, get tickets to the shows. Get them in advance. Don't wait till the last minute because that matters. Get the 2 tickets. Get the 3, 4 tickets. Date night, girls night, homeboy night, don't matter. Get the tickets. At the show, tip your waitress. Tip her. Him. Tip them. After the show, Buy your favorite comics, all the comics, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the comics. Buy their merchandise. Buy the t-shirt, buy the hat, buy the dog tag, buy the button, buy the keychain. Support comics. And tell your friends and family to support. Support your comedians. Support your favorite comedians. Support comedians you don't know. We are small Black-owned businesses. We are our own business. We got families and bills to pay. We got stuff to take care of. We got to provide for our future. We ain't got no retirement plans. Support comedians. We are the Black-owned business for this week, y'all. Thank y'all for supporting me. But I would encourage y'all to keep supporting as many people as you can. If you got, join a Patreon. Buy the t-shirt. Get the Kev on Stage Studios app. Watch Keep Your Distance. If you see somebody with a brand deal, click on the link to see what the brand is that they are part of. Just support. Keep supporting y'all. I thank y'all so much for supporting me and the people that I know and love in this business. And I just ask that you keep doing so. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again. Thank you. And thank you again so much for sticking with us, supporting the podcast, liking and subscribing on all apps where podcasts can be heard, rating 5 stars, and leaving a comment. It helps more than you know, so I really, really appreciate it. And keep sharing Black News with all of your friends and family. Be sure to hit me up on social media if you got ideas for topics. Or just hit me up in general to let me know you've been listening. Let me know your thoughts. I'm at Cornelia on all platforms across the board. That's at Cornelia, like Kenny and Ophelia. Also check my website. I got some shows coming up in Los Angeles County. Hopefully get on the road soon. But for now, if you're in the LA area, hit me up. Check Cornelia.com for show dates and details. And as always, thanks again so much, guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. Keep supporting, keep growing, keep building, keep staying safe, and keep staying healthy. As always, again, I'll see you back here next time, same time, same place. Bye.